into the top 3 tiers. And this is where episodes start to go from pretty good to some great episodes in here. Once again, you may have your own thoughts on which ones should be down here, but this particular tier will cover numbers 27 through 39. So, starting down at the bottom of tier 3, number 39, we have a Christmas special, The Husbands of River Song. People may love this one. I personally enjoy it very much, and it's essentially the departure episode of Alex Kingston as River Song. River Song's timeline has always been slightly disjointed, but this is essentially the last night she and the Doctor will share together. But if they had to go out with Alex Kingston, if they say, okay, this is really it, we're not going to write any more River Song episodes, boy did they pick a good one to go out on. She's great, Greg Davies is great, Matt Lucas would apparently be so popular that he would later return as part of Series 10, and they really had fun with it, and it's just a great episode. And if you don't tear up at that scene of her kind of shouting that the Doctor will never find himself standing next to her, there's something wrong with you. Moving up one spot to number 38, we have another Christmas special, the Christmas special of 2014, Last Christmas. You can argue which is better, Husbands of River Song or Last Christmas, but I've got Last Christmas here. It's got Nick Frost as Santa Claus, Dan Starkey and Nathan McMullen as elves, and even one of a Doctor Who descendant, Michael Troughton, as one of the scientists. Little tidbit for you. Number 37, we've got The 11th Hour, i.e. the first episode of Series 5. Matt Smith crashes onto the scene with his first episode, and you know what? It's still a pretty good one. Still one of the best. He just becomes the Doctor so quickly, and he'll even manage to span a weird craze with fish fingers and custard, which I've actually got a recipe for, although it's not actually fish fingers and custard. At number 36, we're staying with the 11th Doctor, but hopping forward 2 series, and we've got Asylum of the Daleks, the first episode of Series 7. At this point, we knew that Karen Gillan and Arthur Darvill were on their way out as companions, but we also get an introduction here to what will eventually become the new companion, Oswin Oswald, or at least a version of Clara Oswald, and her first episode, I think it's still pretty good. I found it a little disappointing that I couldn't really tell the different types of Daleks down the asylum apart from each other. They were supposed to be classic era designs, but you know what, it's still a great episode. At number 35, we have the 7th episode of Series 12, Can You Hear Me? A lot of people have said that this, for them, is the best episode of Series 12. It's not mine, but I can definitely see why people would think of this as a good episode. It's got some fairly horror-style imagery, and its profound message about mental health. That's something that I think we can all relate to in this time, in this day and age. That looking after how you feel just emotionally is as important as how you feel physically. Going back to Christmas specials, for number 34 we have Twice Upon a Time, the Christmas special of 2017 and the final episode of Peter Capaldi as the Doctor. They did a great job with the story of this episode, and having David Bradley in as the first Doctor, they got him in, I know, for an adventure in space and time, but once again, he just does so well with this part. He channels William Hartnell so well, and it just proves that not every story needs a villain, not every story needs an evil plan. Moving up one spot to number 33, we have the first and second episodes of Series 6, The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. While I admit Series 6 isn't one of my favourites, it definitely got started off with a bang, and it definitely kind of made full use of its surroundings in America. It had some great moments in it, and it features a geek icon with Mark Sheppard. You've got Mark Sheppard in the Whoniverse. What more do you want? At number 32, we have the 9th episode of Series 11, It Takes You Away. Once again, this was an episode that people seem to claim was the best of Series 11. It's not mine, but I can certainly see why people consider it as such. Once again, it kind of drives a profound message about dealing with grief and loneliness and about children. I mean, I personally felt that the father's actions were a bit douchey, kind of leaving his daughter alone in an empty house while he goes off through a mirror to try and connect with his dead wife. I personally thought that was a bit douchey, but that's just me, and I do see why people enjoy it. At number 31, we have The Doctor's Daughter, the sixth episode of Series 4. This is one that people either seem to love or hate. People seem to love uh, Jenny, some people seem to hate her, some people think she's still out there, travelling among the universe, others think she's crashed into a moon. It depends on your point of view on the story, depends on what you ultimately choose to believe, but I felt this was a fun romp. I mean, they could have done so much more with Jenny, but you know what, we haven't seen her in a while, but thanks to Big Finish, we do know something's going on with her. But, yeah. And number 30, going back to Christmas specials once again, we have Voyage of the Damned. Now, as I said in my Christmas special ranking video, this, to me, is always the most cinematic of the Doctor Who Christmas specials. Like, any of the others, they're okay, they're good, they're fun to watch. This one, to me, though, always seemed epic, and I always felt that this belonged on the big screen. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw this on the big screen. So, yeah. Plus, it does have Clive Rowe in there, who I do remember from my childhood portraying one of the characters on Tracy Beaker. So, there you go. And number 29, Partners in Crime, the first episode of Series 4, and introduced us to, I think, one of the best kind of Doctor companion pairings that the show had, i.e. David Tennant's Doctor and Catherine Tate's Donna. This is the kind of first proper episode for them after their brief encounter in The Runaway Bride. This kind of fully set them together and proved they really worked. And there's some really funny moments in here. I mean, the mime conversation is just hilarious. Right. And number 28, once again specials, The Waters of Mars. Now, whenever people always seem to claim that this is the best episode of the specials here, I personally don't really agree with that, but I do agree it was probably the scariest. I mean, just the claustrophobic nature of the base and the nature that, like the Doctor says, water always wins. I mean, it's rather scary to think about, and the design of the creatures is rather horrifying. I mean, people say it's the best of the specials here. I don't necessarily agree, but I do agree it's a good episode. And coming in at the top of Tier 3, number 27, The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit, i.e. the 8th and 9th episodes of Series 2. Once again, this is a set where people think this is the best of Series 2. I don't necessarily think so, I don't necessarily agree, but I do see why people love it. I mean, it is a very action-packed story. It did introduce us to a fan favourite kind of creature with the Ood. It's got some great characters in there, and it does make you think. I mean, in the end, when they ultimately asked, did you confront the devil? And it's like, I don't know. I never did get around to deciphering that writing. That's good. I mean, the day I know everything, I might as well stop. It's very thought-provoking. Did they encounter the devil? Did he not? Was it just some weird creature? We may never know. Well, that's Tier 3. We'll move up one tier soon. Until then, see ya.